Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for Thoughtcast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the most, Chef Steven Gonzalez. What's up, Steve?
Hey, how's it going?
I couldn't be more thrilled. Today we are joined by Jeannie Jacobs. Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Great.
How's your week been so far?
So far, so good. I can't complain. Last week, a week ago, I had major surgery,
Oh my
and
God.
it was fine. My husband said he didn't even get a chance to sit down and relax because he said the doctor was done in 30 minutes.
Well,
But it's been pretty good. No
yeah.
issues, no pain medicine required. I've been
Woohoo.
walking and enjoying food, actually.
Good.
I love that.
Just working on my next cookbook, all kinds of little things.
I can't wait. So Jeannie joins us from Just Jeannie and has an amazing story and a career change that we'll get into pretty soon. And then your first cookbook is called Welcome to My Table. Is that correct?
Yes. It's called Welcome to My Table.
That's
Incredible.
awesome.
I can't wait. I smell a cookbook swap coming on.
Right?
Chef Steve I'm Chef Steve's hype guy, and he has a cookbook.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll get
awesome.
we'll get it out to you. Yeah, it's called Get Your Grub On.
I love to get your grub on. Okay.
Get your grub on. It's excellent. Well, hey, listen, I start every episode we always ask each other and our guests, what was the most amazing thing you ate this week? And so, Steve, is it your turn to be in the hot seat or is it my turn?
I'll just
You're gonna do
volunteer.
it?
It's
Okay,
fine.
do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Lately, we've just been doing a lot of meal prepping, because I've been working some crazy hours. So it's been like smoked salmon, overly cooked sweet potato. And I love it that way. Like, it's so like mush, but like it's almost like a sauce because like you throw your vegetables in there and you just mix everything up and you just wolf it down. And it's so good. That smokiness from the salmon, it just really complements like the sweetness of the sweet potato, the earthiness of the broccoli. Yeah, like simple, but like awesome.
Yum.
Yum. That sounds great.
Steve, do you like season the skin and eat it too, or just the inside?
Yeah, totally. You have to. But here's the kicker. Like my wife has to make that for me. So I make sweet potatoes or beets and I just kind of roast them off like as is. My wife takes time to actually put love into it. So she like puts the oils and seasons the heck out of them. And yeah, just because like I'm trying to eat clean, but she makes it good. So, it's one thing for the other,
So how does she season your sweet potatoes?
She puts garlic, salt, pepper, and then basically whatever else we have in the pantry. And
Wow.
Yum.
yeah, it always comes out good.
She's
She
like
does it
more
right.
savory side of the sweet potato.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. And of course, like when you're trying to eat healthy, like you get sick of the same thing over and over and over. I think that's the one thing that I can't get sick of. Like broccoli, I hate broccoli now, but like I eat it because it's so good for you. But when you mix it with the sweet potato with like a different protein, thumbs up.
Exactly. Yeah. I like broccoli with sweet potato. That's how I learned to eat it. Eventually, the broccoli, you're right. Broccoli is be a little harsh on you.
Yeah.
Like, that smell, over time, you're like, oh, no.
It's a lot. It has those cruciferous vegetables have a tendency to smell a little bit like a fart. So it's
it's not even that. It's like I said, it's just the monotony of like eating the same thing over and over. And so, like I said, when you overly cook your sweet potato, it's just like mush, and it's like a sauce. You can just mix it all up together, so you have like a sweety, saucy broccoli, air quotation. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've never paired with smoked salmon. I bet that's really good.
Oh yeah, so good. And then you heat it up, and then your whole office smells like smoked salmon. And people don't care because it's crispy. So, yeah, totally fine.
Jeannie, so I heard you asking about the savoriness of the sweet potato. Are you like, I like mine like candy around Thanksgiving. Is that how you roll, or
that's how I grew up in South Carolina? Those sweet potatoes, like my grandmother would put them in the oven. We wake up in the morning, it would smell the whole house. The house would just smell awesome.
Yeah.
She always put a little sugar or brown sugar and a little cinnamon, and for like, holidays like Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, then it gets really serious with the candiness, the caramelization, the bubbling sweet potato that comes out.
Yeah, it's like a candied situation. My mother made like a sweet potato casserole. She still does. I swear up and down, just like anybody else would, that it's better than everybody else's. But like, I'd never had a marshmallow on sweet potatoes until I ate it at school, like in the public school cafeteria. I love it like that. but nothing beats her. Like it's like a praline topping. Oh, it's so
Exactly. With the
It's so
pecan
good.
and the butter goodness.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
you get it just right, and you take the spoon, you hear the crack
Oh, like
on that
yeah.
layer, and then you crunch, you're like, okay.
My grandma had this like nut grinder that lasted I don't know, pretty far into my like early adulthood after she had passed, but it was the oldest contraption. It was like a glass bottle that had this on top with teeth in it, and you loaded the pecans, and it was so old.
Oh, wow.
It was funny. It wasn't like a slap chop. It was not modern. There was no
Right.
modernity to it. Like, yeah. Well,
Is it
Jeannie,
still around? Is it like
I
a
don't-
family heirloom?
I don't think so. It wasn't quite like heirloom territory, but I know it was probably, it was kind of like Tupperware, right? Like it had been around for a while. Jeannie, what was the most amazing thing you ate?
Well, I used to live in a place called Alexandria, Louisiana,
Okay.
like 17 years ago. So there was a restaurant there called The Cottage. It's actually still open because I went 2 weeks ago. And I always loved the shrimp soup. I have never made it because, I can't duplicate it. And this lady, of course, she's not going to tell me the recipe. But it's so creamy. It's milky. It's creamy. It's got a little smokiness to it. A little spice, but it's not the type of spiciness where, it just really burns you. It's just really smooth. It's subtle spice, and the little shrimp are so tiny. And you eat that with some buttery cornbread. Oh my gosh. So I bought like gallons back. It's in the freezer. Throughout the year or whatever.
You have to do that. Yeah.
Is it like she crab soup? Is it cream based?
It's cream based. Yes,
Okay.
it is. Definitely cream
So-
based. So
Okay.
I have been trying to pick this recipe to death for years. So I'm gonna try it again since I have it in the house and I'll have it for a while.
I think
But
you
it's
gotta
like top secret.
you gotta freeze a pint and like ship it to Raleigh. Let me see what I can do. I'll reverse engineer it. Oh, that sounds amazing. I just really want cornbread. But yeah.
Oh yeah, the skillet cornbread with all the butter on the side. Yes, that's
Okay. Sweet cornbread or not sweet cornbread?
I have to do the sweet cornbread.
Yeah.
You mix that Jiffy cornbread
Yeah.
mix with a little bit of cornmeal and a little bit of this and a pinch of that, and you're like, wow.
And sugar. Yes. I love it. I love it.
Even like where I came from, like people would like zest a lemon in the cornbread. You talking about yummy? And so for a long time when I was little, I thought the cornbread that I was eating was actually a cupcake.
dessert.
Nice.
So I don't think I've ever seen it in action, but I have heard stories and rumors about Disney World's sweet cornbread that's like mile high. And the rumor has been forever, and I need somebody out there to confirm this, that they take a 5-pound box of gold medal yellow cake mix and mix it with a 5-pound box of gold medal cornbread mix. And I'm
Probably
like,
because that texture, I think I know exactly.
yeah, it's like fluffy and light, but it's like cornmeal. I'm like,
bounce back.
yeah, like I want that. I want it. I want it to be like cake.
That'd be the type where you just like poke a bunch of holes in it and then throw that soup that you were talking about, Jeannie.
Exactly.
And it's almost like, yeah.
That's a good idea, actually.
Kind of like a tres leches like approach to it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great
Savory
idea.
shrimp tres leches cornbread.
But minus the leches part,
No,
Yeah.
Jeannie, you got to put it in the cookbook. I'm telling
Hey.
you. I'm
Coming up with
telling
new ideas. I
Do
love
it
it.
on Instagram. Look.
Yeah, like a little individual cast iron skillet, and you scoop a little of the cornbread out, and you put that soup in the middle. It's like a bread bowl. Yes,
Exactly.
do
That
it.
would be especially during the fall. Man.
So good. Oh, it sounds amazing.
Crawfish on the side in the spring.
Yes, crawfish.
So what about you, Melissa? Enough about us. Let's talk about you.
My least favorite thing to talk about. So I made what I'm going to affectionately call a clean out the pantry salad. It had Spanish white anchovies, can of green beans, can of navy beans, jar of artichoke hearts, can of tuna, Old Bay, fresh parsley, and lemon juice. And I've been eating it standing at the counter on Triscuits with hot sauce. Pretty amazing. So considering that the rest of my meals this week have been somewhere in the peanut butter and jelly range, like that's a winner. So,
Well, that
yeah.
sounds pretty. That's a good idea. Clean out your pantry. See what you can do.
Just a bean salad. I'm very much in this. On a crusade to empty the pantry and the freezer before I buy more things.
See, every time I get close to doing that, my wife buys a ton of groceries.
Sabotage.
So all that hard work of eating just to get more food. I know it's a terrible thing to have, but still.
I live alone. It's just like there's nobody to be accountable to except for me. And I'm just looking at it like going, okay, it's an incredible privilege to have all this food when other people don't. You can't just go buy more just because you're bored. Like, what a privilege for you to be bored. You got to eat it.
Yeah.
So, it's getting a little creative over here. The meals are going to get kind of weird. Not going to lie, but it's okay.
As long as it's good,
okay.
Right?
Exactly.
As long as it's good. So, absolutely. Well, Jeannie, I want to understand how you go from physician to cookbook author to lifestyle expert to the next Martha Stewart. Take us on a journey.
Well, let's see. Growing up in South Carolina, I read that encyclopedia like you would not believe because there was nothing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had lists. And believe it or not, I tell my kids, make your list of things you want to do in life because you're going to revisit it. Yeah, I'm revisiting that list. On that list, as a little girl, I put in all the places I wanted to travel. I've hit a lot of those. I knew I was going to be a doctor. But on that list was always being a Martha Stewart type person because of the women in my family. I just took on those personalities. I just love food. Yes. I love the fact that my grandparents grew up in a smaller town outside of Columbia, South Carolina. They had a farm. So I got to see how the food was grown. I got to pick it. I learned basic things like how to can, how to take care of your knives, your cutting boards.
Dying art.
Yeah. Those things have always been there with me. So, you do the right thing. You grow up, right? You go to school, you do get the good grades, you go to med school. And I was sitting there one day during COVID. By that time I was part-time because my husband and I, we had our children really late in life. And, I was saying, why am I being abused by patients, who are COVID positive, who think this is all a hoax and I'm watching people die, and I'm risking my life. Why is this lady like spitting in my face and she's COVID positive and her baby's dying? Why does she not care? Why is she telling everybody she doesn't care? She kills us all. And something snapped and I stood up. I went to my call room. I called my supervising physician. I said, I think you know who I'm calling. I am done. I'm not coming back tomorrow, the next day. Of course, he went ballistic. And I said, this is my time. And I walked out of the hospital. I was walking. Nurses were filming me because I couldn't believe I was leaving because I have been there forever. The reliable Dr. Jacobs, right? And got in my car and went straight down the I-10 and I never looked back. And I have not had regret. But I knew things were missing because of my schedule, because of the obligations. That time that I used to have to gather, to connect with people, that was going away fast. And what really got me one day, I could not make my famous chocolate chip cookies. That I perfected that recipe when I was 5. I could not remember that recipe. My chocolate chip cookies have never been the same since that day. I could not remember how to do it. And I said, wait a minute, why am I throwing away essence of me, who I am?
Yeah.
You have to remember who you are. It's always there. No matter those titles, those things that are in front of you, you are who you are deep down, and reach back and grab the person and keep going. Because you don't know what those gifts you really have until you realize that you missed, like that chocolate chip cookie. That was my gift. I got to somehow get that gift back. I missed that gift. I'm not going to let any more of those gifts leave, or those blessings, that I should be receiving. I just don't have access to anymore.
Wow.
So came home and I just started being who I really was. And that was taking care of my home. I'm out in the yard, I'm gardening, the ladies in the South with the big sun hats, and I'm trying to grow hydrangeas in Texas. It's too hot, but I found shaded places to do it.
Just growing dandelions and weeds, crabgrass.
Exactly. I'm in the kitchen. I'm going through all these old recipes. You know, my mother lives down the street, so I'm cooking. I'm doing this. I'm planning all the holidays. And the next thing I know, on Instagram, it went crazy. People were like, "Oh my gosh, what? She's like the Martha Stewart. Wait a minute, she knows how to fix a shower leak. She knows how to do this.
Wow.
She made this turkey." You know, it just kept going, and going. And you know, I just said, just let me be me. And this is who I am, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to take it for a ride. And yes, I do want to be the next Martha Stewart like person, but in my own modern way. You know, I think being hosting with intention, just living with intention, with purpose is what people need to kind of gear their lives back into, you know?
Yeah.
And my philosophy is to host, I guess, host with intention, host not to overwhelm, but make people feel comfortable where they want to stay.
Yeah.
I almost feel
that's
like
amazing.
hosting. Yeah. I almost feel like hosting is kind of going away, because think about it. We all get tied up in our lives. You know, we're busy. We have things going on that we forget to like just stop and enjoy like the little things, being around people, you know, getting off the phones and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And something like that, I think, is just magical.
Exactly. And, you know, I notice people, sometimes I'm around folk and they are just ticked off by every little thing, you know, like you have a friend and you know this person forever. Okay, they suck their teeth every now and then. So why are you ticked off about it? That's a nuance for that person has, you know, learn from it. There's something behind that. What is it? Stop being pissed off about it, you know, take it as it is. Sit down, chill. You know,
not everything has to be an annoyance. I think that's good.
Perfection. They worry about being perfect in everything. You cannot be perfect. Sorry, it's not about perfection here.
Well, I think the journey to get there is half of it, and then you have to enjoy that time. Yeah. But there is something. Your story will preach, girl. There is something about like that moment where you're saying like reach back and pull your younger self, right? Like I'm just like there's this sermon in there somewhere. I mean, that is just a beautiful story about it. That's a real now or never moment, you know, like, and not everybody has them. You know, not everybody finds it at 30, at 40, at 50, and we had a lot in our industry too during COVID where people were like $213 an hour is not enough to wait tables. I'm not going to do this anymore. Yeah. And we lost some social aspect where people like forgot how to entertain. We rightfully so physically like became scared of one another, but that social like never recovered, right? Like we forgot how to interact, how to, just get together for the purpose of being together and, and intentionally making the connections. Like we forgot how to do it.
Exactly. Reaching out. Yeah. Just, if you can't physically be in a place with someone, just reach out, pick up the phone and talk. Don't text, talk, hear that other person's voice.
Yeah.
Those inflections, how we respond to certain things, that's a lost art now, I think, because we're too busy. This is what I see kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I'm guilty of that too, especially at work where, calling, texting vendors, trying to get things done. And you just kind of forget about that human aspect.
I try to intentionality is like so important, right? I find myself, I have two phones, one in each hand, and I find myself, somebody is asking me a question and I really have to focus on pick your head up, give them eye contact and tell them like, hey, just a second, because I want to give you my full attention. Like I feel so bad sometimes. I'm like, hey, I'm doing 8 things at a time right now. I think the science shows women are just really good at it. But I can't give you my full attention right now. Hold on just a second so I can turn my body toward you, change my body language, look you in the eyeballs and actively listen, not just go like, and look at my phone,
I have children. I have a 15-year-old and I have a 12-year-old. Now, I noticed with my son and his cohort, and these are the babies that were during COVID, they were in kindergarten. So they lost a whole kindergarten time frame in part of first grade, right? And that's really crucial. Most of those boys, when I talk to them, they don't look at you in the face. They don't know how to train their eyes on your eyes or your face.
Socialization time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you said, yeah. They're all over the place. And so that's, that you through children. So you have to, my son, I'm working on that. He has to sit down and we have to have that one-on-one eye contact FaceTime. And that's how he's learning social cues, because kids miss social cues because of that, which gets them in trouble as they get adults because, something
they can't interpret.
Yeah. And the other person will think, okay, you're just being disrespectful. You're being flippant. We're going to put you on the outcast because you don't know how to be.
That's hard in the workplace too. Super hard in the workplace because every cue is read as intention, right? Every single signal that we give to each other is either like I'm for you or I'm against you.
Exactly.
In a corporate world, so crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Jeannie, who are the food heroes in your life? Who'd you learn to cook from?
Okay,
how did it start?
Mothers for sure. Those pinches. I still can't do their pinches, but I have a Jeannie pinch.
You'll never have the same size fingers. I know, it's a bummer.
I know. I'm like, okay, Grandma, she just went. Definitely grandmothers, great aunts, my aunt, my mother, and just growing up in other people's houses, like my friends, watching their mothers do different dishes. So a lot of important ladies in my life taught me how to cook, and not necessarily read a recipe. Just really cook, let it flow, test it out. Don't be afraid. You make a mistake, it's okay. Next time, not to do it, right?
Have you think we've kind of lost that too? Like we're not sending our kids to neighbors' houses for dinner. Not having as many people over. Yeah.
Exactly.
What were some of the things that stood out to you while you were learning how to cook? Was there any kind of dishes in particular?
Mac and cheese. No. But another one was the cornbread dressing. It took me, it took me about 3 years to get that one right. And potato salad. You can't.
What's your secret to success?
Excuse me. The potatoes. Make sure they're not too mushy.
Yeah.
Because if it's too mushy, it's just like sauce. Just like you say, it's just saucy, too creamy. It's just way too much. And keep it clean as possible. Chop your eggs finely. Get your relish in there. A little pimento. Keep it simple.
Sweet relish or dill relish, Jeannie?
Sweet or dill, but I like the sweet.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
I'll never forget how excited I was to cook for an aunt and uncle one time. I must have been, I don't know, 13 or whatever. I knew from the moment I could stand up to a stove that I love to cook, but I went through doctor and veterinarian first. Doctor couldn't do the math, didn't want to be in school for that long. Veterinarian, once I realized the animals eventually die, couldn't do it. I like sharp things, knives, and I like fire. Don't care for blood. Don't care for bodily fluids. So I was like, I think that cooking's the way to go. And then I was watching people like Martha Stewart, and I was watching, Bobby Flay was on the Lifetime Women's channel before the Food Network even existed. Yeah. So I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do, but I'll never forget. I was so excited to cook for them, and I made potato salad and deviled eggs, which is basically two forms of the same thing with all the same flavors in it. They had never let me live that down. They were like, you can't put these together for a meal. So, mayonnaise, mustard, relish, onion, eggs.
But they were good.
Oh, it was delicious, but it was just piles of the same stuff and same on same. Like we still talk about it. It was so funny. But I was so excited.
I think the thing that I had growing up was I was really good at making like a chocolate flan cake. Ooh. And everyone was always asking me how to make them. And of course, I had like that one recipe that I had perfected. And then years later, I can't. I to this day, I've tried to recreate it. I can't do it.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
I know.
One of those things that you get out of practice sometimes.
Yeah. It's those little pinches, those little. That's why I see it. Because what?
Huh? I was going to say, you were
chocolate-
talking about making your chocolate chip cookies and you had that recipe down. Do you still have it down? Because now I'm intrigued.
It's not, no, the pinches or something is off. I don't know what I did
Yeah.
back in the day, but it's just, it may be the butter quality. I don't know, but I'm still playing with it.
So if when I get my copy of Welcome to My Table, what is the first thing I have to make?
Well, actually, it's going to be a drink. It's the almond iced tea.
Almond iced tea.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Yummy, delicious. And the cottage, like I referenced earlier, and I was in Louisiana. It's the first time in my life I ever had almond iced tea, and I've been hooked ever since. Of course, when I was in Alexandria 2 weeks ago, I bought 6 gallons home. They're in the freezer.
Wow.
I want to figure out how she does it. There's so many variations of it.
So you just road tripped it then?
I did. My daughter is like, she's a junior golfer, so she was in an AJGA tournament actually in Alexandria. So that was my first time. I've been there like years, so I just went nuts.
You were like, oh, I guess if we have to go for your golf thing.
Let me put a fork and a knife and a spoon in my handbag. But yes, almond iced tea, you have to make that. Okay.
I'm in. I twist my arm, why don't you? Now, is it super sweet?
You can if you want to. Okay. And that's what I like about it. You can vary the sweetness, which I love that.
I'm a plain iced tea drinker. I had to train myself to get there. And I love the taste of like, I'll drink like this is Earl Grey and there's no sweetener in it. But I grew up with sweet tea. But I have diabetes. So now I'll try to do, try to drink things plain, black coffee, plain tea. But I let myself have sweets. It's okay. Just a little,
Yeah. Just a little bit. But
just a little bit.
The flavor, that almond flavor is just magnificent. I love it. Love it.
I can't wait. That's amazing.
So tell us about the premise of your cookbook. Like, how did it come about? What kind of recipes can we find? Things like that.
Well, it came about me leaving the hospital. Never thought I would write a book. But again, remembering how important it is for us to connect, to gather, to share those memories. And my mother, she lives with me. She's great. She's 82. She's spunky. She teaches. She does everything. But those memories, watching, I don't want those memories, those histories, those recipes to kind of disappear. Mine did. So this is like my entry here. Like, hi, I'm Jeannie. Welcome to my table. This is where I live. This is where I want you to come gather with me, But the recipes, they're a taste of everything. I mean, I have a little bit of Indian food in it because I have neighbors who taught me how to make some of their
I love it.
Excellent.
It has a lot of recipes are staples in my family, like the mac and cheese with a little twist. Mom wouldn't let me put it all out there, but chicken pot pie, some of the salads. We're talking about grilled veggies. My husband is a vegetarian, so I have learned to adapt our recipes towards that, but they're still full of flavor because we treat vegetables as a side dish sometimes, right? Yep. Well, these are main focus, veggie forward types of dishes. We have chilies in there. There's going to be taco. There's some brunch items like quiches and some very simple recipes, like the lemon pound cake. The pound cake is sacred in the South. So got that. A hummingbird cake. We got creme brulee, things like that. I try to make the recipes simple for people who aren't cooks. I can't cook. You can cook from this cookbook because I made sure the recipes were simple, full of flavor, and things that you will feel that you can replicate or time after time and never feel overwhelmed or stressed about.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait. My grandmother collected cookbooks and she used to sit and read them. She would read them cover to cover like it was a novel. Like she would look at every single page and she would read through every single recipe. And I can tell you, like, I don't know, we had family favorites that she had passed down and we had, things that she would cook on repeat. And there were a few things that she really liked from certain one of those books, but I mean, my mom listens and she watches every week. She'll correct me on how many it was, but I think when she passed, there was something like 200 cooked. I don't know how many, just a mountain of them. And we got the grandkids like look through them and, you know, saw if there was anything sentimental or anything they want to keep. But I always laughed about it. I'm like, she's never going to cook out of this. Like, she wanted it to read it because she, you know, I lost her before I was able to have this conversation with her, but I think that she really genuinely enjoyed reading people's stories is what she liked, because she was also a gatherer of people. And so I think she wanted to understand like what was behind a recipe. And if it was a church cookbook, she wanted to see whose like Meemaw it belonged to. And, you know, the little plastic binders, like, you know, Second Baptist Church, whatever it was, right? Like the women's, you know, whatever it is, like the auxiliary league cookbook or whatever, you know. So, but she was always interested in those. And so I love it. And so I don't quite have a collection. I'm a little bit of a minimalist as far as like physical items go, because my life philosophy is you can't take it with you and you need to enjoy the now. And so, but yeah, I can't wait. And over the course of doing this pod, we've met so many amazing people, and I'm like really proud to have their cookbooks and have actually cooked recipes out of them, which is cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, my book has a lot of storytelling in it, like things I did before.
I love that. I love that.
When I was starting to work on mine, I had that same mentality. I'm going to tell these stories, and I just forgot along the way because I was more focused on the recipes and making sure people knew how to do them. And at the time, I just lived like in a little tiny apartment. So a buddy of mine and I just shot pictures of food in my apartment and just had a good old time. So, you know, maybe for my next book, I'll do stories and all that. But that was one thing, like I said, I wanted to do and just forgot along the way.
Yeah, put it in the next one, Steve.
That's right. The next one.
There's always the next one. Yeah.
Jeannie, are you familiar with a creator named Sonia Norwood? Have you seen her on social media?
I can't recall. I may have, and did not realize the name is familiar.
That's okay. Yeah, sure. So she was a creator I found during Black History Month, and she did an entire series where she was investigating Black recipes and why we're losing them, which I thought was just incredible. I'm working my way through. I have like 4 more desserts I want to make from this series.
Nice. She did the sugar cake. I think that's what
the burnt sugar cake.
Exactly. My paternal grandmother, she used to make those when I was really little. I remember watching her in the kitchen.
Wow.
So that was a big one. I couldn't remember her name. You're right. It's Sandra Norwood. I saw her on Instagram, and she would go through each little, but that sugar cake was one of them. That's interesting. So you're cooking those.
I'm trying to work my way through them. So there's an orange cake, and she was like kind of explaining. It's been really neat to see, because like I love food history. And so I love to learn, you know, why we do things a certain way. And so she was explaining like, you know, post-slavery, kind of like the importance of different fruits and like why oranges became popular around Christmas and they weren't affordable. So like if you saw citrus in a recipe from a Black kitchen, it meant that it was a special time of year, or it was like a church dessert. And then she was explaining how like, you know, apples would be used for Betty's, or like peaches would be used for cobblers, but like oranges were considered like really high dollar items. So they came out around Christmas at church fundraisers and everything. I don't know. It's super fascinating. I really love like learning about it. Like I love like being able to be just like an observer in that space, right? Like I can't speak to that experience personally, but I like to understand like where the food that's become popular in my life like originated, right? Like the stories and how it came around. So I love it. So yeah, it's just fascinating stuff.
I just always assumed citrus in like winter, you know, early spring, just because like that's when it grows best, you know, especially in South Texas where I grew up. You know, that was just abundant and things like that. I'd never really, you know, thought about it like that. So that's very interesting to make those points, you know? Yeah,
it was like highly sought after, which is, they think part of the reason why it ended up in everybody's Christmas stockings is kind of like, that's how the tradition started. Yeah, amazing. Well, Jeannie, like if you came to potluck today, what would you bring?
Potluck. That's a good question. What would I bring to? Oh well, tomorrow we're playing mahjong. You know what I would bring? Because tomorrow I'm gonna have to crack those towels, girlfriends. I'm bringing a crostini. For some reason, I'm into crostinis. I don't know why, but I just did one. It's like a variation of one in my cookbook. It is a fig crostini, but it has goat cheese. And what I did recently, I put a little bit of orange zest in the goat cheese. Then I went ahead, I caramelized some onions. I love caramelized onions. I don't know why. I think they're just so yummy.
Depth
and I just
flavor.
do it, kill some onions as my son says, and I freeze them. I keep them in the freezer. So I put that, and I put a little bit of food preserves on it and a little fresh sprinkle of thyme, and it is so yummy. Especially when you take that bite and that crunch, and it's just, it's like, yeah. So we have that tomorrow.
Come on over.
Pistachios.
Right.
I love pistachios. Underrated nut, underused. So big pistachio and goat cheese crostini. I'm in. I'm in.
I like that.
Steve, what about you? What are you taking to Jeannie's potluck?
Well, I'm kind of afraid to bring like mac and cheese if yours is as good, you know? Man, you know what? I know what I would bring. I would bring some jumbo lump crab cakes.
Oh, yes.
What I would bring. It depends. How many people are we cooking for? That's the real question.
Let's say 12.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Totally crab cakes. Totally.
That's a good size.
Yes.
That's a really good size.
What about you, Melissa?
I'm a big fan of like a roasted tomatoes Provençal, like scooping out the aromas and little breadcrumbs and herbs and butter. And you can do meat or not. I kind of like meat or rice or not. So I'm a fan of that. I love it. And we're getting into the warm season, so we have good tomatoes. So it's big, beautiful heirloom tomatoes, season them, kind of scoop the seeds out. You can do a little rice stuffing in there. You could go cold, a big platter of like assorted tomatoes, fresh herbs, like dill, man, my favorite. So yeah, that's what I'm bringing. I'm bringing some stuffed tomatoes.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
You know, I like to do in the summer here in Texas, I just get my hasty baked grill going. It smokes really well. So the tomatoes, of course, I put them in a little bit of olive oil and just throw them on the grill and just shut it down. And oh my goodness, the juice that runs out of it, it's like perfect salsa.
Yeah.
Go into the blender and I have the best salsa ever.
Yeah, the sugars that come out is just insane.
And that smokiness.
Do you keep your onions in the freezer so they won't make you cry? Is that the deal?
No, I've never done that. No, what I do, I caramelize the onions. I make so much of it. And then I freeze them. So I'll use them, as I need them for soups, sauces, or just because I want to taste something on a cracker.
Super smart. Super smart.
Exactly. I just buy them. The sweet onions.
I love that. I had misunderstood the first time around. I was like, wait a minute. Do you peel your onions and then freeze them? Because that's like genius. I always, Steve and I have talked before. I'll shop at Aldi. Do you have those there?
Aldi, yes.
Aldi, yeah. So the produce is kind of like meh sometimes at Aldi. Like it's on its last legs when you get it, which is why it's so cheap. But I will buy like $50 worth of produce at Aldi, which will go like a really long way. And I'll slice and dice everything into freezer bags and freeze it the day I come home from the store. And the membranes will break down in the onions and they'll get soft quickly, like for caramelized onions. So kind of a life hack, even though I hate that term, but yeah.
It works.
I got a question.
It works.
What's one technique that you think every home cook should master?
Ooh, one technique. Oh, that's a hard one. Let's see. That's a good one.
It's the hard-hitting journalism on this podcast.
Right. I didn't even think it was. I was like,
I mean,
it's a good question. I think it was a hard one. I'm sorry.
What? You know what? And going back to freezing things, why not learning to preserve food? People waste so much stuff.
That's true.
And it's true because when you start talking about it in my head, I was thinking about I go to a friend's house who really don't cook a lot, and you open their trash and it's just stuff that you can keep. I mean, okay, like garlic. What do people do with their garlic? It sits in the pantry, right? It dries up, right? And they toss it. Don't let it go there. What I do, I take my garlic and I'll just, chop the top of it, put a little olive oil, a little salt, and roast the thing. And then I put it in the freezer and I have it. I don't have to worry about it,
Yeah.
Things like that. I think people need to understand that food is just not for now. You can keep it for long periods of time if you know how to store.
Well, it's the mass availability that we have of food, right? Because that's why nobody learns how to preserve it anymore. Like nobody has a root cellar, nobody has a big canning pot or anything because we don't have to, right? And it's an incredible privilege not to have to. It's funny. I made myself like a little picky plate, like tuna salad, apple, pickles, whatever, like crackers, a few days ago. And I was laughing because out of the back of my fridge, I pulled like zucchini and yellow squash bread and butter pickles that I had made.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't can them. I just like refrigerator pickled them, which still honestly last forever. Also that way. And I had been experimenting with like using Splenda. And they came out okay. Like they didn't taste too fake. And I was like, okay, I can deal with this. I'm just getting to the age where I'm like starting to like sweet pickles because I've been dill only forever. But I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, I made these a year ago and they're still good and they're still crunchy and they're still just kicking around in the back of the fridge. And I was like wondering like, why did I make these? And I was thinking about it and I was like, oh yeah, like I bought a zucchini and a yellow squash and forgot it. And it got kind of like, man. And I was just thinking like, not many people would know what to do and just end up in the trash, right? Yeah. You can also grate them into a freezer bag and add it to pasta sauce. You could puree it into a jar of marinara. Yeah. You could add it into salsa. You could do like all sort of things. But I find that kind of unconventional. I end up freezing things in ice cube trays because I just cook for one. So
right, exactly. Yeah. Like I will do that with herbs. Freeze my herbs in butter in the little trays,
Smart.
And I'm good. Grab it.
No millennial knows what an ice cube tray is now.
It's true.
Right? But I live in a rent house that doesn't have an ice maker. And I think I rented in an apartment that didn't have one forever. And so I still have them. Sometimes I freeze the chicken broth in them. Right now, earlier in the week, I split a can of coconut milk. Because I'm working my way through my pantry. So I have some bags of ramen in there. I know, like as a physician, you're like, clutch the pearls, ramen's bad. But
we eat so much ramen down here. It's not even funny.
Girl, I'm like, if you have a sodium problem, drink more water. But yeah, like, so sometimes I like to red curry coconut milk peanut butter.
Yeah.
The noodles. But for one person, you don't need a ton. So like an ice cube's worth of coconut milk, it'll do the job. So I was like, how can I make this more efficient? Okay, I think I got it. The problem is when you don't label all the bags of ice cubes, then you pull stuff out of the freezer, you're like, what the hell is this?
What is it? Exactly. You have to label.
What is
and
this?
My I was taught when I was little, you buy a whole chicken and it'll last you for a long time. Yeah. And I think that's a skill that it's cheaper. Go ahead and just buy a chicken. Break it down, freeze your little parts. You got chicken, buy several. But the parts that you allegedly discard, don't drop it in some water. Make it, things like that. Because you have that for a long time, and you have good cornbread dressing.
Honestly, if nothing else, like if you're not going to make soup, something that I've been doing lately that I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't know why I didn't. It's not like I reinvented the wheel, but I just don't know why I didn't think about it. I've just been cooking my pasta in bone broth.
Oh
just a little extra protein, a little extra flavor. Like not in the mood for soup. It's about to be 90 degrees here. To me, it's not soup weather. But I'm not in the mood for soup unless there's like ice on the ground. But I'm like, why can't I cook my pasta in this?
Exactly. Well, you can make sauces with all that too.
Of course,
yes,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, the art of making a sauce.
Yeah,
that's who's doing it, right? Who's making pan sauce at home for meat or fish? Right, really classical technique. Jeannie, is it stovetop mac and cheese or is it baked?
Oh no! It has to be no. Has to be baked.
Okay. Does it start on the stove or does it get built in a bowl or like what?
Well, the noodles, of course, are on the stove.
Sure.
But no, it's in a bowl. I mean, I am like grating that cheese. I used to do
Okay.
3 different cheeses,
Ooh.
throw the noodles in. I got the cream, the milk, whatever, the eggs, whatever we're going to flavor it with is in that bowl going. That's crazy.
Right.
So,
That answers my question. I was going to ask, so being like a physician, like, are you mindful of like the ingredients you put in, or you're like, no, this is about love. Mm-mm. This is awesome.
Exactly. Put a foot in it. Let's say.
Put your foot in it. Yes. In the South. Yes. I like it.
Exactly.
So, as I have often told people, you put your whole foot in that. So convenient. I think Texas likes to be a part of the South when it's convenient for them. But I didn't learn that we weren't really the South until I moved to North Carolina. So.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, I grew up in the South. They were like, no, you didn't. I was like, okay, no, I didn't.
Yes, that South Carolina, North Carolina line is different.
Indeed. My brother helped me move over here. We stopped at that last Buc-ee's right there on 95. Right before the border, right before you get to south of the border. What a wild place that is. Like, before you get into Sheets territory, I was like, okay, one more brisket sandwich. But yeah, it was a wild drive from South Carolina to North Carolina. So I haven't made it since. The only traveling I've done is flying. But it was a crazy journey to get here. I'd never been through some of those states. Not used to living so close to other states either, where you can just drive to them. Texas takes forever.
It does.
It's crazy. So.
I think, let's see, from where I'm at, everything's like 5 hours away, hence Midland. But if I'm trying to go home and see family, it's like 9 hours. So, yeah. That's all in the same state.
It's Texas. It is Texas.
Well, Jeannie, it looks like, so I'll share all your information for the pod and everything else and like where people can find you. But I want to talk about your partnerships. Do you have anything on the horizon? Anything that you're able to share? Anyone that you haven't gotten yet? Who's your white whale?
Who I'm trying to land. Well, Le Creuset, I love. Mm-hmm. They need to have me like doing collabs with them. It's a
co-sign.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's all I have. I have a collection, but I bought my first like Dutch oven when I was in med school. Okay, I did not have money in med school. I could barely eat. In fact, I was eating food like in the doctor's lounge and drug reps. Okay, it was that bad, right? But for some reason, I think it was like $20. I don't know where I had it, how I got it, but I went to Tuesday morning and there it was. And I still have it.
I love it.
So I'm like, yes, that is definitely on the list. I do have a new book coming out. I can't really talk too much about it because I have something going on with it, but it's a deep dive in the neuroscience of gathering and food.
I love it.
There's a little more doctor twist to it. But right now it's 10 chapters long and we're going to have over 100 recipes and they're starting to work on it for me. Stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So
just the art of gathering people. I can't wait to read this. I want to see from like a science point of view because there's a lot to it.
Yes,
there's a lot to it. Reading each other's facial cues and like pheromones and your emotions and
exactly.
Even what do you call the happy chemicals? The oxytocins and all that business. Yeah. So I love that.
So we're going to do that, and of course a little history about why we gather, how it all started. Different cultures here and there. And I think that's important because what we see today, sure, it came from way back in the day, beyond we could ever imagine. So I did a little deep dive and a little history just to give, to help people understand this is what we do and this is why we're doing it.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm going to read it. I can't wait.
And I'm doing like a butter series on social media, all things butter for a little bit because I love butter. I'm sorry, I just love butter, everything. So working on that, on those recipes and stuff. So I'm trying to partner with other brands, butter related brands, so we can just do it up.
That's amazing.
I have a couple of talks, one at a bookstore, which is my first one, which I'm really excited. So it's going to be an experience. So we will have a table that's set and I have a like really cute little talk, nothing boring. I told them I wanted to be an experience no more than 20 minutes, but I want people to understand how we gather. So I'm working on that. And I'm actually
Amazing.
speaking at one of the top private schools in Houston about my book. So I got that call. So I was really happy about that.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Excellent.
So hopefully I will be on a national TV show with my apron one day. That's my goal.
Yay.
Yeah.
We can say we knew you win. How exciting.
So
Amazing.
we're just, just going through it, seeing what happens and letting the doors open. So very,
Excellent.
very,
I love it. Man.
still, I'm not looking back. People call me, do you miss delivering babies? No, but I see some of my babies walking around, but
Aw.
but I'm not at all. I seriously have not looked back at
Well, you
all.
didn't tell them you're still taking care of people. It's just different.
It differently.
It's
That's-
true.
You're
know?
right. Because gathering and connecting, that is care.
Yeah. I mean, you're meeting people's needs. I mean, that's really what hospitality is, right? Is gathering people and taking care of them.
Exactly.
So that's a concept that's older than the Bible. So I mean, it's funny to think about. It's like sometimes in churches it gets relegated to all the women, right?
Of course.
We get on the hospitality committee and the team, and it's really like the people that, not to poke fun, right? But like it's like the people that put the napkins out. It's like, no, it goes just a little bit deeper than that. This is about like welcoming people into your space, right?
Exactly. Making them feel comfortable.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
it's a radical concept. It's about like pushing beyond comfort zones and like really like meeting people where they're at, right? Like it's not just about like who's bringing the cookies.
Exactly. There's an art to it. So.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
How amazing. And then you have a candle line.
I do. I have a
fragrance
line. It's called Pivotal Moments.
Okay.
It's my pivot. So, scents play a huge role in how we feel, how we think. And I pair scents definitely with my hosting. Every meal, there's going to be a scent. I don't actually put the candle on the table. I don't like when scents compete. But when first thing people walk in your home, what are they going to smell? Or smell it. That scent is everything. It tells them, is this a good place?
Mostly dog.
Am I?
Sorry. They're clean, I swear.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Please.
But it sets the tone. It sets that ambiance, that mood. And it makes people automatically, your brain starts to go, oh, I'm good. This is a safe place. I think I can be okay here.
That's olfactory is strong.
Yes.
It's strong for memories and emotions.
Yeah, totally.
It's insane.
Exactly.
I recently turned 40 and I am experiencing the phenomenon where I smell ranch dressing or pickles or cigarette smoke where it doesn't exist.
Oh,
It is not here. It is the most strange thing, but it can invoke like strongest memories, right? Like I can just be in the middle of another task that is seemingly unrelated. And I don't know if it's perimenopause or who knows, right? I'm like, anything could be happening. I don't know. I live my life 1,000 miles an hour. I work like 70 hours a week. I love what I do. It could really be anything. I don't know if a nostril's broken or what, but when you smell something, it could instantly transport you, right? To just a different space and time, which is just insane.
exactly.
It's just crazy. So
Most definitely.
Functional sense.
it's really, really powerful. What's your favorite? Which one should I start with? I will maintain that I'm like mostly allergic to most fragrances, but candles I'm pretty good as long as I'm not rubbing it on my skin.
Right now, I'm into woods for some reason lately.
Yeah.
I have a fragrance called Soulscape. So it's violet. It has a little bit of baby powder. It has oud in it, ambergris and a little coconut, and it's very soothing.
Yum.
It's relaxing. It brings peace, and I love that scent.
All right.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So that's
I'm always a sucker for like the tobacco and leather kind of scents.
yeah.
And my
I'm
wife
Big
loves,
sandalwood fan.
yeah.
Yeah.
My wife loves candles, period. So anytime that I want to do something nice for her, I just go get her like different candles that I can find. So I'll definitely be picking up some of yours.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I can't wait.
So that's something I created after I left medicine, and it just brought me peace and that connection to neuroscience, how scent triggers memories.
Yeah.
That was a really big core piece for me. And also the candles are clean. My fragrances are, so they're vegan. So one thing, burning candles, there are certain brands. I know a lot of people like to burn, but they're toxic. And that's straight out. I could tell you what I've seen people in the hospital, with allergies and wheezing and asthma attacks. Yeah, you have to be really careful with your wax because they are some of them can be very toxic. So mine are clean, the coconut soy base, the wicks are cotton. So, and the oils are more natural oils, which I love. So it's a clean burn.
I would have never in a million years would have thought that. Wow. I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah. I knew about soy candles and I had heard about beeswax ones. I always basically go the unscented route for most things in life, like detergent, deodorant, all things.
Yeah.
But I do let myself have a candle from time to time because I like it.
Yeah.
Hazelnut, sandalwood, something like that. It makes the house feel cozy.
It does. It does.
So I bet I am lucky to have my sense of smell. I smoked for 18 years. Thank God, not anymore. But I didn't lose it during COVID, the both times I had it, which was really awesome. That I didn't lose my sense of smell, not that I had COVID. But all that to say, there's just something really inviting about candles. And as a person who used to be into incense and they're really, really gross, I'm super excited to just have a candle now and then. So I can't wait to try these. And then where can people find Welcome to My Table?
Well, you can find it on my website at justjeanniejacobs.com. Definitely, if you order it from my website, the book will be signed. And I love signing books, sending little messages to people. You can also find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. And if you're in Europe, it's Waterstones also is carrying the book as well.
Okay, amazing.
Wow.
All right. We got one European listener. Yes, let's get them. Let's get them.
Did you mention social media? Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Jeannie Jacobs. Also on Pinterest as Jeannie Jacobs as well. So Instagram is my main foray into social media. So, but everything is there. You go there, you can find my website. You can find all kinds of stuff that I'm doing. I also have an elevated living class that I call it. It's free. It's self-paced because everybody's so busy, but I'm on during the weekend. And basically they're tutorials where you learn how to set a table, how to organize your space, just general things that I come up with that, that I find that are helpful for people. So I'm going to actually revamp that class in a few weeks and add new content. So there you have it. So you can reach me that way as well.
It's really, really important for you to provide that resource because a lot of people, what prevents them from starting is just the fear of starting.
Exactly.
Or that, we haven't given ourselves permission. Somebody made us feel bad for being wrong at some point. So we haven't given ourselves permission to make a mistake or to fail.
Yes.
And so then it's all that fear just keeps you from doing anything at all.
Exactly.
So, I for one am just so incredibly inspired by the fact that you got your clarity moment. Some people chase it their whole life and never get it. So good for you. I love it.
Thank you.
Good for you. The prospect of a career change right now is absolutely terrifying to me. I don't know how to do anything else. So I applaud you. I mean, that's just amazing.
Especially in medicine, a lot of my colleagues, they look at me, first they thought I was crazy, right? Totally nut, talking about me, talk all day. I said, you can talk about me all day, but I'm going to walk through that door. And they understand.
You could be crazy, but you're happy. So
they definitely understand. So they're trying to follow suit too.
I love it. I love it. You'll be the trendsetter. We'll have all these doctors talking about living better.
Exactly. That's true.
Well, Jeannie, we had a pleasure talking to you. Stick around. We'll chat after we stop recording. But thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for being so generous with your time. And we can't wait for this to come out. And I think our listeners are really going to enjoy getting to know you as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me
so much.
This has been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, for Steve and for Jeannie, I'm Melissa, and we got to go. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.